There was a time when people would have been offended at the whole idea that others owed them something, that they were entitled, that they should be given what they needed. For the most part, people were self-sufficient. They worked hard for what they wanted, and that was the Christian work ethic, which simply stated work was a gift from God and should be pursued and appreciated. Now you fast forward that to today. There's an attitude toward work and life known as the entitlement mentality. It's the opposite of the Christian work ethic. The entitlement mentality has a negative view of work. Those with an entitlement mentality expect satisfaction of material things without having to work to earn those things. This problem, this attitude, appears to me to be true of all age groups. However, it has especially become apparent in children. Many loving parents, with the best of intentions, have cultivated the entitlement mentality in their children. They're raising their kids to think contrary to their Christian beliefs. Kids believing everything should be done for them. If they ask enough times, mom and dad will give in. If they pout, they get what they want. If they say, "I'm sorry," and act remorseful, chances are there will be no consequences for bad behavior. The message they send to their children is, "I love you. Let me make your life as easy as possible." What parents should communicate to their children is, "I love you. You have God-given abilities and talents. Be productive. Work hard. If you fail, try harder." Arranging ways to guarantee your child's success, never allowing him or her to fail, is a huge mistake. They grow up thinking that God and others owe them something. God owes them a problem-free life. And when a problem arises, they begin to question God. It's God's fault. Their attitude is mom and dad owe them a smartphone, an allowance, freedom to make their own decisions and do whatever they want. It's an endless list of complaints of what they deserve. It's a habitual focus on self. Children need to be accountable for their actions. Let them stand on their own feet. Don't allow them to get in the habit of expecting something without putting forth an effort in order to get it. If they want something special, they can save their allowance and buy it. They can get a job babysitting or mowing lawns to earn extra money. It's important that parents are careful not to overly indulge, spoil their children. Now, I understand parents want to spare their children, their son, their daughter, the struggles they experience growing up. But there has to be a balance. If parents are not careful, they unintentionally communicate a sense of entitlement to their kids. Think about it. Think about television and radio commercials today. They're all about how entitled you are. They tell you that you deserve their product. Don't cook tonight. Bring your family to our restaurant. You deserve a break today. Buy our mattress. You deserve a good night's sleep. Come to our dealership. You deserve a good deal on a new car. You deserve true happiness, and our dating website will help you find it. An attitude of entitlement is seen in whatever a person wants, they deserve. The justification is they want it. They perceive their wants and needs as more important than anyone else's. All this inevitably leads to manipulating and exploiting others for personal gain and benefit. This inflated view of oneself is contrary to Christ, who emptied himself, taking the form of a bondservant, Philippians 2:7. Unfortunately, some parents convey a damaging message to their kids. That message is the world owes them. And with the best of intentions, mom and dad end up creating a self-centered brat. I said it. Here are a few examples how parents sometimes convey a sense of entitlement to their children. Number one, children become the priority. Now, this doesn't mean there are not times when your children are the priority. However, there's a risk to indiscriminately devoting most of your time and energy to your children. In these cases, it's not surprising they grow up believing the world revolves around them. You see, these kids aren't allowed to endure frustration and disappointment. They get bailed out. Their parents pamper them. And that's not good. They'll never learn how to independently deal with problems and disappointments. They'll easily become annoyed, irritated, and short-tempered. And while the kids' parents may have to deal with it, other people will not. They won't hang around and listen to them grumble about their feelings and what they deserve. Number two, rewarding your child for bad behavior is another common problem. A child that whines and throws a fit in Walmart can make a parent very uncomfortable. However, giving in and rewarding the child is the worst thing that a parent can do. Yes, it does solve the immediate problem. Your child quits throwing a tantrum. It also relieves the frustration and embarrassment you're feeling. But it teaches the child that whining and throwing a fit pays. In Luke chapter 17, Jesus confronts in his disciples regarding the entitlement mentality. He reminds us that we are his servants. In verses 7 and 8, he says, "But which of you, having a slave plowing or tending sheep, will say to him when he has come in from the field, 'Come immediately and sit down to eat'? But will he not say to him, 'Prepare something for me to eat, and properly clothe yourself, and serve me until I have eaten and drank, and afterward you will eat and drink'?" The servant works all day. That's what's described here. The servant works all day, and when he comes in, the master says, "Oh, wait a minute. There's more work." He says, "Prepare something for me to eat." You see, as servants, we are not entitled to be pampered and praised. Verse 9 and 10 goes on and says, "He does not thank the slave because he did the things which were commanded, does he? So you too," here's the personal application, "so you too, when you do all the things which are commanded you, say, 'We are unworthy slaves. We have done only that which we ought to have done.'" You see, it's a servant's duty to serve the master. We are unworthy servants, doing what we ought to have done. We are daily bombarded by advertisers telling us we deserve something. You deserve a hamburger made your way, a certain car, a vacation, and more money, and so on. Reality television is an endless parade of entitled people complaining about what they want and deserve. Entitlement thinking impacts the way people think about parenting, relationships, emotional, and spiritual life. Entitled people tend to think of others and they tend to think others treat them unfairly. Anger is usually a problem. They justify their anger by insisting they deserve better. The Bible tells us that salvation is a gift bestowed upon us. Quote, "according to the riches of his grace," Ephesians 1:7. "It's not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy," Titus 3:5. No, you do not deserve a break today. but sometimes you get one. You do not deserve a vacation. However, sometimes you can afford one. Children do not always get what they want, but sometimes they do. God does not owe you anything, but He has bestowed upon you many wonderful things.